Hello again, it's Ash. It's been more than a few days, and I'm here with one theory out of two about the mural on the Dread Wolf Rises trailer. This entire video is dedicated to the first video, so much that I don't even have video footage. Life is currently in chaos, but I wanted to talk about the trailer while it's still fresh in our minds, so I hope you enjoy. The theory goes, the Dread Wolf Rises will depict Solas' personal struggle between preserving himself as a man or descending into his role as the famed Dread Wolf. Solas the man will fight to preserve the ashes left by the destruction of the world, while the Dread Wolf will purge it. The tearing down of the veil is non-negotiable. Let's put this apart. The theory is, well, technically a retelling of Theory B from my last video. A few things brought to light made me side with this a lot more. First, the elf is confirmed bald. I mentioned a theory that the elf on the left side was wearing a helmet, as I didn't want to jump the gun and say, oh my god, he's bald, it's Solas because he's bald, and the elf is bald and he's bald. Well, it's confirmed. BioWare's Nick Thornburg is the artist behind the mural, and he confirmed the guy is just bald. Over Twitter, he references the person on the left and states very plainly, it's a bald elf with a harsh shadow. Second, I believe the outfit is a visual representation of the spirits and souls in the Fade who continue to bear upon Solas' own soul. But okay, that's a little bit confusing. Let me step back a bit. An interesting theory came up that this character is actually Falun Din due to the symbols on the outfit matching one scene in a separate mural, also the oaken staff that the elf uses. While I don't agree with this assessment, the symbols gave me a different idea. Now, in another mural from Trespasser, the DLC, the symbols are found brightly spread out in front of a silhouette that is depicting the Black City. We know through Solas' conversations with Cole and in Trespasser that he bears a great weight on his soul. He hurts an old pain from before when everything sang the same. They sleep, masked in a mirror, hiding, hurting, and to wake them. On one side are these souls that he carries, but on the other side is the Dread Wolf, whose darkness is a sweeping abyss. Even while Solas casts his magic on the left side in a sea of fire, he stands in front of a tree. The ground still holds shape. And to further confuse you, this may be a reflection of what we saw in the Romance Solas Tarot card. If you take time to look at the card, the tree on the left, still in bloom, resembles the dead tree in the mural. Also, the distinct pattern of the ground. It goes without saying also, Solas' voice lines at the end of the trailer are very, very telling. But in truth, based on these, I believe strongly that it's Solas on the left. Now, the second part of the theory. Solas the man will fight to preserve the ashes left by the destruction of the world, while the Dread Wolf will purge it. Solas spent an egregious amount of time questioning and challenging the morals and motivations of the current world's people, especially with the views of the Inquisitor and their companions. Solas' own perspective was that of someone who believed himself as more real, as more, as part of an existence where magic was everything and anything compared to the, for lack of a better word, nerfed civilization that now spanned Thedas and practically criminalized magic. But as time unwinds, we see that Solas opens up to his fellow companions, shedding some appreciation and respect. For example, admiring Varric's contentment and wisdom despite his loss of stone sense, or for Cassandra, her own honor and honesty to herself and in her faith. For lack of another better word, Solas is able to see the humanity of the people of this age. But more importantly, the one who influences him the most is the Inquisitor. Much like Corypheus, Solas is a relic of an age whose time is too far separated from the current. He's left at a disadvantage, and if you notice from the entire marketing campaign for Dragon Age Inquisition, Solas is the only person consistently directing his full gaze at the Inquisitor. Something that the devs have intimated to me over the years. One of them was, this was on purpose every single time. And 2, Solas was the only person who was vigilantly judging every action and consequence the Inquisitor enacted. The Inquisitor had a key role in shifting Solas' perspective on Thedas today in whatever direction you liked. I believe this is insurmountably key for all future dealings with Solas, for any outside party, with whomever is our new protagonist in the next game. The Inquisitor's actions cemented the baseline of how Solas will approach the future of Thedas. If he holds compassion for the life of the current age, if he felt love, if he gained sympathy, he will save as much as he can, in light of his own goals. If he walks the path of the Dreadwolf, he will not think twice, he will not blink twice, to throw Thedas into the abyss and build anew. And to the third part of the theory, the tearing down of the veil is non-negotiable. One day the magic will come back, all of it. Everyone will be just as they were. The shadows will part and the skies will open wide. When he rises, everyone will see. Prophetic words from Sandal that we once believed were about Cryphias, but BioWare used the very specific phrase, the Dreadwolf rises. I'll be completely honest, I really don't like using Sandal because, much like time magic and time travel, Sandal's presence tends to complement every theory out there. But for a dwarf who can physically enter the crossroads at will and shape stone to his desire and has a power akin to Solas' freezing at the end of Trespasser, I'd say he has some weight on the world. With Solas' own confirmation that he would restore the Elven people and the mural depicting the burning of the world itself, I'd say Solas will succeed in his attempt, although mitigating damage and recovery depends on how we influence the world and him as the Inquisitor and future characters from here on out. I do not believe the world will end, as it's apparent Morrigan will play some role with inheriting the next age, but that's a whole different topic altogether. With that all said, what about the idol? This strange statue whose self is gradually being consumed by red lyrium. How does this play into Solas' rise? Okay, let's add another part to the theory. The tearing down of the veil is non-negotiable, but Solas will have to counter the blight first. Solas has had several conversations in Inquisition about how unrealistic it is for one to think they can wield or even control the blight. He even paid some respect to the Grey Wardens for buying everyone time. Judging by the lyrium, the red lyrium that is spreading throughout the idol during the trailer, Solas may have another priority: the blight infecting the rest of the Fade. When we last left it, Ferelden waters flowed into the Fade, red lyrium grew across the landscape, blood spilled out of the stone. What was once pure is now tainted. Solas once said that he should collapse the veil and bring the Fade so he can casually reshape reality. However, the sundering of the veil may accelerate the taint and its spread, not just on the physical world or the Fade, but as depicted by the red eyes on both sides, Solas himself. Solas can throw all of Thedas into hellfire, but when it comes down to it, the blight is still out of his control. He is still susceptible to it. There's so many ways he can go about it. He can escalate the Qunari to Tevinter conflict and, in his own words, use war to push the limits of the possible. He can incite a cataclysmic purge, forcing the joining of both worlds and cleansing the blight in an apocalyptic way, using magic similar to what Morrigan knew for the old god baby. The same magic Flemeth taught her. That was taught to her by Mythal. That was later possibly stolen by Solas. Or more simply, Solas can let the blight spread at its current pace while he sets up the world for its downfall. It doesn't matter if Solas tears down the veil if the blight consumes both worlds. Our role is still unknown in all of this, but Solas fighting against himself while fighting the corruption that looms over his head, I believe, is the foundation of the Dreadwolf Rises. Thank you for watching. Honestly, there is so much more, but it will have to wait. I'll be back on Twitch next week after the 17th, on top of moving, and I'll be traveling on separate business. But in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be joining you on my absurdly long flight over. So I'll see you soon. Like, subscribe, and all the links in the description. For now, take care. Goodness, it's gonna be a long road. But in any case, fen'harel and on Sol.